Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are y'all doing? Welcome to Cliff Notes Live on this wonderful Monday evening. Yeah, taxes are done. So it is a great evening. I hope y'all have a fantastic Easter. I will talk about all that. But before we do, I'll start with the big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV. Love you guys hanging out here with me every Monday evening. And those of you who watch on replay as well. Don't ever want to forget about y'all either. But always makes for a good way to start the week. So welcome to the Cliff Notes Live family. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, and maybe hitting an old thumbs up as well. Now, let me say this. I think most people are aware, but I saw a little blurb from Nicole Anthony. Well, it's not Nicole Anthony anymore, but she always will be for me. But Nicole started a new YouTube channel, and someone had asked her, said, how much does it cost to subscribe to YouTube? Nothing. Y'all don't have to pay anything to subscribe to YouTube. So if anyone's ever thinking, I'm not going to pay for Patreon and all that, we don't do that stuff out here. It's not about that. It's just a way, if you do that, you get notifications when new videos comes out and all that. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Become part of the family. All right. Let me see who all's out here. Apologies in advance. I'm dealing with a killer headache today. I get a little water to help out with it. I need to hydrate a little bit. We were busy all weekend, driving back and forth, doing everything. So bear with me every once in a while. Having said that, let me see who all's out here on this glorious Monday evening. Poured down rain this morning, but kind of nice and humid out there now. It's already summertime here in Texas. All right, let's see. Brian Huster. Brian, how are you doing, sir? Ma's out here as well. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Love seeing you guys out here. Mark Taylor as well. Yeah, we'll talk about Easter a little bit. Let's see. Audrey Cobb. Audrey, howdy. Marilyn Sutherland. Patricia Miller. Michelle Moore. Amanda. I love seeing these names out here. Desiree Watts. Desiree, I still laughed at. I was pronouncing your name so badly there for a while, but I figured it out, right? Let's see, Carol. I think I got you, but I'll get you again. Ed as well. Ed, howdy, howdy. Terry Thomas, Cash Wash. Let's see who else I got here. Karen Hummern, Karen Loveland. Yeah, I'm just talking away. Cindy Hire. Cindy, howdy, howdy, howdy. And I think, is that about it? Chaz, I didn't want to forget you, Chaz. Andy W as well. Wyatt Garrett, howdy, Wyatt. Hunter Green. Hunter, how are you doing, my friend? After meeting you, Hunter, I feel like I know you so much better. Ken T as well. And let's see who else we've got here. We'll go through quick. Vicky Zuzu Stone, Tracy Muckenfuss. And if I missed anyone, I apologize right off the bat. Trying to get through it fast. Kind of a weird week. We got Easter to talk about. Of course, we still have reality TV. Amazing Race Survivor, $1 Million Secret wrapped up. Love that show. Absolutely love that show. Waiting for the next big one as well. So any ideas y'all got, throw them out there and let me know. But we've got reality TV. We've got Easter. It is San Jacinto Day, which I know Hunter knows. Some of the rest of you may not. That's kind of, it's not officially Texas Independence Day. I think that's March 2nd, but it's the day, April 21st, that the Texans defeated San Jacinto and basically what led to us becoming a republic, and happened just up the road, not 10, 15 miles from here. So yeah, kind of special day for Texans as well. And what else is going on? I don't know. All kinds of stuff. So what do y'all have in mind? We'll talk about all of it over the next hour, and we'll just, like a meandering stream, we'll just see where this thing turns out. Oh, we had some weddings to celebrate, all kinds of stuff going on. All right, real quick, I'll look at some questions before I just start rambling, as I tend to do sometimes. Let me see what you got on here. Mark Taylor saying, how was your Easter? Any practical jokes at the Hog House? And Chaz is saying, what was Easter dinner at the Hog's House? All right, let me put it. It was a little bit different than in past Easters, because as y'all know, my mom passed in October, and we really wanted to make a concentrated effort, a focused effort to get the extended family together, which in my case means myself and my brothers and all the kids and all that. So that was the goal this weekend. So we all went up to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, up to Arlington, and didn't celebrate Easter per se, because a lot of my brothers have in-laws that live up in the Dallas area as well, and kind of people scattered to the wind a little bit on Easter Day. But we made an effort on Saturday night for everyone to get together at one of my brother's houses. it was so much fun. We had all the all my siblings, our age level, and then we had everyone's kids there as well. We had what, 20, 25 people, something. A lot of hogs in this house. Had a amazing meal. We had brisket that they cooked outside, enchilada casserole, which Sharon knows one of my favorites. So she made it just for me. Enchilada casserole, lots of candy and eggs for the kids and all of that. And we didn't have anything real formal. We just spent all night long eating and having fun and sharing stories. I've got a nephew who's getting married, so we talked about that a little bit and just enjoyed each other's company. Had a blast doing that. And then Monday, we all went to, most of us that could make it, all went to church together at my mom's church. And that meant a lot. Easter was always a special time for my mom. So we did that. And when we got done, went to an old Mexican restaurant in Fort Worth, Texas called the Mexican Inn, and had an incredible meal and just told a lot of stories all weekend long, and then drove back down to Houston. So we did that. Now, as far as practical jokes, because we didn't have a formal Easter egg hunts and things like we've done in past years, I didn't do as much. Here's what I've learned. I have turned into, in some ways, instead of the master, I'm the Yoda. I'm the mentor, and I've picked up my little Padawan. One of my nieces, who is, how old is she, Sharon? 10? About 10 or so, getting ready to enter middle school and all that. She is a perfect age. She is a mischievous little soul and is willing to embrace the chaos that her Uncle Cliff brings. So I have taken her in as my Padawan jokester mentor. I will teach her all the tricks of the trade. I told her how to do the white crayon and eggs, so people would dye eggs and her name would show up. And she thought that was rather funny. We did a few pranks. One of the pranks, did you know after you peel a hard-boiled egg, if you put it together in your hands like this, it can't crush. It's still too strong, even without the shell, for it to actually crush. Well, that's not actually the case, but we did have a lot of people put their hands like that with an egg in between, and it's real easy to snap it closed and do that. We've got one trick. It's a little hard to explain on here, but basically you tell someone that you can pull a raw egg through the crack of a door. Turn a door about 90 degrees so you can see that crack in between. You say, I can pull that egg through the door. No, you can't. No, there's no way. You say, here, I can. Hold on a second. Stick your fingers through the door. And so you get someone stick their finger through the door. You say, okay, now hold the egg while I go around to the other side. So they hold the egg. And then instead of going around to the other side, you just walk off. Now here's a person holding through the crack of the door, holding the egg. If they drop, it's going to hit the tile and raw egg goes everywhere. So instead, they're just sitting there left holding an egg through the crack as long as until someone comes and rescues them. So we just did some silly stuff like that. It was fun, but no, not the ultimate prank Easter. We'll have to save that for somewhere down the road. I want to go in and buy like those 100-year-old eggs. You know, the ones that are all just rotted and horrible looking, things like that. I'm gonna get some of those. I've got some nieces and nephews who are at the age where they're future Fear Factor contestants. We'll just put it like that. They'll try anything. So we may have to do that. We did have jelly beans, the little Easter egg looking jelly beans, and mixed in a few of the Harry Potter Bertie Bott's bad flavored jelly beans as well, and just waited to see who would get a bad one and who wouldn't. And I've got a sibling who said these jelly beans must be bad because this really tastes horrible. And we all, so yeah, we had fun. We had our own share of fun. But the main thing was just getting to hang with each other. A lot of people in my family I just hadn't seen for a while. So yeah, that was our Easter. It's all about family, right? I mean, Peter Rabbit and Easter egg, yeah, all that's fun, but it's all about family. So we did a whole lot of that and had a blast. Didn't get a lot of sleep. Stayed up way too late telling stories, but it was well worth it. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Let's see. Mark is saying, who's your choice in Survivor now with a few weeks to go? You know, and then Ed saying, who's next out on Survivor? Not looking good for Mitch. Winner picks. You know, we don't know. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't caught up, just sit tight for a few minutes. We don't know, do we? what Eva's advantage is, or do we know? Y'all tell me. I may have missed it. I know that she hadn't actually fulfilled it yet. She has to walk along the beach and find the flames or something in the middle of the night or something. But a little bit of a cliffhanger on that, whether she accomplishes it or not. And yeah, as you say, at winner's pick, I do feel like we did see a spoiler. I like Mitch. I truly do. I feel like Mitch is a good mix of decently competitive while also a good social game. No one's in a hurry to send him out necessarily. We'll see. You know who I really think is at risk in a lot of ways, but probably the best position of the game is Joe and Eva. I mean, Joe is such a good competitor from a just competition standpoint. Eva's got the immunity idol, which I'm still amazed that Star gave that to her and never asked for it back. She's got the immunity idol. Now she had immunity last week. Now she's got this advantage. She's just got a lot of things working towards her. And we saw Chrissy wanting to take the head off the beast, go after Joe and all of that. I got to say, I agree with Chrissy. If I was in her position, I would have done this. I would have also been targeting the same people that she was targeting. I just think she went about it completely the wrong way. You cannot be so straightforward in your attack on another person or group and not think that there's not going to be blowback on you. It's just like in Big Brother. I knew I couldn't just go directly after that big alliance, because then, yeah, you may take out one person if you get lucky, but you got a lot of people coming after you after that. So I really think Chrissy had the right idea and just a bad approach to the way she did it. Of course, it's easy for us to say, right? We only see the edited part and all that. But if I was Chrissy, I really think I would have spent a lot more time, instead of saying, we've got to get Joe out, we've got to get Eve out, things like that, of just whispering to some of the other people, Mary and some of the others, and saying, yeah, I'm worried about it, but we'll see what happens. Try somehow to get them worried and nervous and paranoid about it, and hope that they come up with the idea instead of yourself, just to provide a little bit of protection. She didn't do that. She just, I think at one point she said, I'm taking one for the team just to show everyone else, that who's biggest and most dangerous in this game. Well, she took one for the team. Now she's not in the running for $1 million. That's a tough way to do it. Who's left? I don't know who I'm cheering for, because old Boss Hogg always tends to cheer for the underdog. And so as much as I like Joe and Eva and some of them, they seem like they're too much in control. I want to see some stuff getting shaken up. I don't want the strong group to make it to the end without more issues and more chaos and more uncertainty. That would make for a boring next few weeks. You know who kind of is my dark horse? And I never can remember how to pronounce his name. Shaheen? Shaheen? And my spell check never does it right, which screws up. Shaheen. I feel like he's part of that group, but you see Kyle a little bit nervous about him. He's kind of the wild card within that group. I think he's got a pretty good social game, and he's not certainly certain to make it forward. I think he's under a lot of risk, but because of that, I'd kind of like to see him do well also. I don't know. I don't see Star making it too much further. We saw where they all had to go do that little challenge with the red balls and the white balls, that she just didn't have any strong allies in the game. I think she's in trouble. But Shaheen, I kind of see him doing it. So maybe him or Mitch. I don't know. There's no one left that I just think there's no way they deserve it. They've all played games differently. Some are a little more dependent on the competition, some a little bit more social game. We're going to see. It's easy for everyone to be all kumbaya amongst this strong group when you're just picking off the people that aren't part of that particular little alliance. It all changes when you start pointing the fingers at each other. We'll see who truly has each other's back. And it's got to be Eva and Joe, right? If I'm Kyle, if I'm David, if I'm anyone else in that little group, I am scared to death about the two of them being so close to one another, because I don't see either one of them ever doing anything that wouldn't benefit the other person. They got to go under those. They got to go under those kind of circumstances. So we'll see. Hey, it's been interesting. I hope the next few weeks continue to stay interesting and don't get a little boring or a little too predictable. We'll find out. I did like some of the challenges that they had. I mean, once again, obstacle course, but it was kind of cool watching Mary figured out that when you go through underneath instead of crawling, Shaheen had a hard time with it. she got on her back and pulled herself through pretty fast and showed a whole different way to do that particular challenge. Man, I would hate those things. I mean, I got a little bit more mass to move sand out of the way. I would, I don't know, that would be my best skill. What I would love is doing something like that red ball, white ball. They used to do that with, I don't know, it was flags, and you would pick a certain number to remove certain flags. There were other mental competitions. They don't do nearly as much of that in Survivor as they used to, but that was kind of fun. And it also forced some people to maybe, I don't know if they expose their alliances, but it forced some people to work together to try to avoid losing their vote, which Star ended up doing because she didn't have anyone to work together. So yeah, we'll find out going forward. All right, Ma saying Tommy got married. Yes, indeed. Ken T saying is, what is Nicole's married name? Fontanez is her. Brian Fontanez is her husband. Incredibly nice guy. I've met him several times. So guys, they're just a perfect couple together. So yeah, Nicole Fontanez. They've got a YouTube channel, Our Guilty Collection. I need to find that out for certain, but you can search for her name and it'll pop up. They are so ready for Halloween. They're gonna be the Addams Family come Halloween. It's gonna be that level Halloween for those guys. But yes, Tommy Bracco got married. I was so happy for him. It was it looked like it was just as much of an extravaganza as you would expect from someone like Tommy. I've met Joey, his boyfriend, now husband. Met him many times. Incredibly nice. Also, they just seem to fit together very well. And I know, obviously, I follow him and Joey and everyone else, and they just always you see the smile on their faces when they're hanging out together. So yeah, they had quite the shindig going on. I felt bad that I wasn't able to get up there because it looked like they were having so much fun. But yeah, New York at Easter weekend and all that. But yeah, congratulations to Tommy. I've told a few times how happy I am that he was getting married. I'll give him a chance to kind of decompress and chill a little bit before I reach out to him again. But yeah, I'm happy for that guy. It's funny. All the people of my season of Big Brother, so many of them are getting married, they're having babies, they're buying homes, they're doing all the stuff that you expect them to do. But because I spent 3.5 months in a house with them, in some ways, they're always going to be frozen in time the way they were when they were in that house. I'm always going to think about them, just like Nicole. Yeah, I know she's got a new last name, but it's going to be hard for me to ever think about it. Of course, I do the same thing with my daughter. It's still hard to adjust to that. But I'll always think about all of them as when we were in that house together, kind of frozen in time. It'll be like that 50 years from now when they're the age I was when I was in the house and all that. But yeah, I love seeing. I kind of like they're my adopted my big brother kids or something, and seeing all the cool stuff they're doing and the way they're getting on with life. And yeah, I'm very happy for them. It was a fantastic weekend for those guys. All right, Ma is saying Cliff's birthday is Thursday. Well, thank you, Ma, for mentioning that. Karen Hummer's birthday was the 18th. Well, congrats, happy birthday to you. Feliz cumpleaños to you, Karen. Carolyn Sutherland's birthday is Sunday. They had a bunch of Tauruses, right? I think we're all Tauruses. I don't know when it starts, when it ends. I'm never huge into that. I was in the Big Brother house, and Christy, of course it was Christy, said, oh, there's no way a Taurus could ever win this game. There's no way a Taurus should ever even be in this house because y'all are too stubborn and earth-based, and I don't know what the rules are for it, but she and I think Jessica both were just going on and on about how incredible it was that I was a Taurus, that I would even be there in the first place. It's like, really? Boot me out of the house because I got a big mouth. You got overheard talking. Boot me out of the house because I plotted against someone I shouldn't have. Don't boot me out of the house because of my astrological sign. What a bad way to finish your reality TV, your Big Brother journey. That would have been horrible. But yeah, birthday's Thursday. It's going to be fantastic. I've got a relative's wedding I'm going to next weekend, so we'll celebrate. Sharon and I, and probably my daughter and son-in-law. We'll go eat somewhere here around town. There's a new Mongolian, Korean barbecue hot pot kind of place that maybe we'll try that out. We'll do something around here Thursday, a little small celebration. And then over the weekend, when I've got my son and daughter-in-law and kind of more family together, we'll do something before the wedding itself. And heck, then I get to go to a wedding and chow down on a whole nother round of fancy food and fancy cakes and everything else, and celebrate someone else. But I'll be kind of thinking about my birthday as well. Now it's gonna be fun. Uh, always happy to have yet another birthday. It sure beats the alternative, right? Now here's the thing. I'm turning 60. I don't feel like I'm 60. I still feel like I'm a 25-year-old inside the Big Brother house, just the way I was in there when I was trying to play the game, because I knew that's the only way I could survive as long as I did, was not be the old guy that doesn't know anything about popular culture or anything else. I had to be just like the rest of them. And so that's the way I still see myself. I'll be 25 until the day I die. There you go. I don't care how many gray hairs or wrinkles I got. All right. Karen Hummer is saying, have you ever been to Rome and the Vatican? No, I haven't. But speaking of thoughts and prayers, I guess, to the Pope. I heard he passed away. I thought, was it on Easter? That would be kind of ironic, karma. I don't know what, but no, it was Monday. He wasn't doing well. I mean, is anyone surprised? I don't think anyone was surprised. I think there was all kinds of things that went into planning to make sure maybe that Easter wasn't the day that he left the grips of earth and all that. But no, I've never been. I'd love to go. I'm not Catholic, but for Christmas Eve, forever, while Sharon and I were up finishing up presents and getting the house ready before everything that happens on Christmas Day, we would watch a midnight mass ceremony. And I've always been impressed just by the grandeur and the ceremony and tradition, and knowing how long that has gone on the same. It's almost like it's a bond that just exists across the generations when you see some of that, and the amazing artwork and everything else that you have in Vatican City. I would love to go visit, but no, I've never been to Southern Europe. I've been all over the world. Well, I've been to Milan, Italy once for 24 hours. I landed in the morning. I had meetings all day long. I flew out the next morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. That was horrible. I think I've told you all the story, but I'll tell you again real quick. I do meetings all day long. They finally dropped me off at the hotel. The hotel they put me at isn't in the middle of Milan where it's cool. Let's go see all the fancy stuff. No, it's out as part of an industrial park. It's like, oh, great. I don't even have time to go do stuff. Well, meetings went till 6:37 at night. Everything goes long over there. I get back to my hotel, say, at least I'll get one nice Italian meal before I have to fly back home. I go in there. Oh no, we don't have any Italian local foods this evening. It's Mexican food night. It's theme night. Great. So I had the worst Mexican food I've ever had in my entire life. Thought, all right, well, the next morning I'm going straight to the airport. I saw a little gelato stand. At least I'll get some gelato before I get on my flight. No, my flight left at 6:30 or so. The gelato stand didn't open till 7. So the only meals I've ever had in Italy was Mexican food. Now, I did have some amazing coffees while I was over there throughout the day, but other than that, so I'm not counting that as an actual trip. I would love to grab Sharon one of these times, hit all of Southern Europe, Italy, Greece, southern coastlines of Spain, get somewhere where it's nice and warm and beaches. And we'll do like Mamma Mia or something. Yeah, one of those kind of places. That'd be a lot of fun. But no, I've not been to Vatican City. For those of you who've been, tell me what you think. I know you had to love it, right? I would think so. All right, let me look real quick because I saw Carol Mosier. Thank you, Carol. I'm sitting there rambling along. I saw that a second ago. Thank you so much. She said, you make my Mondays, Cliff. Well, Carol, you and everyone else out here, y'all make my Mondays as well. Monday's such a dreary kind of, who wants to start school and work and all for another week? But I always have Monday evenings to look forward to. So thank you, Carol. I appreciate the support. I truly do. Not just from the stamp, but just being out here and being you out here. Thank you so much. Desiree Watt saying, you tell the best life stories. Just love to hear them. Thank you. I am thinking about, because Sharon always pushes me to do more writing of all my travel stories and all that. Maybe I'll do it on YouTube. That's the way of the future, right? Of audio, video, whatever. Maybe I'll just start telling some YouTube stories on here. Not Cliff Notes Live, not Big Brother updates, just travel with Cliff or something. I'll give y'all some of the the crazy, wild thing. God, I've seen some things. It's a miracle in some ways that I'm still here to tell the stories because I've been in some crazy situations. So maybe I'll do that. I used to do a lot more of it when I first started Cliff Notes Live. I'd try to tell travel stories every time, but I need to get back into that. But maybe I'll just do a focus deal. It's all narcissistic from my point. I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, if I do all of that, maybe my great grandkids 100 years from now will watch all those YouTube videos and say, geez, who is this guy? You sure we're related to this guy? They probably won't care, especially because it won't be jacked straight into the brain or something else. But yeah, maybe I'll do some of that. Thank you for the comments. I appreciate it. When I tried out for Big Brother, they said, why would you be good on the show? I said, because I think I'm a storyteller. I think I can tell stories and keep people entertained. That was my shtick. That was the main thing I tried to push while I was wanting to get in there. That and the fact I was a super fan who knew everything that needed to be done. I just couldn't make it all happen, but I tried. All right, Ed Sam. Do you eat hard-boiled eggs, deviled eggs, or hard-boiled eggs? Yeah, I eat them in all different forms. I'm like Paul Newman, eating that challenge on Cool Hand Luke. If you haven't seen it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out Cool Hand Luke. One of my favorite scenes is him eating a whole lot of hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, I eat them hard-boiled. I eat them scrambled. I fix omelets. I eat them any way you'll fix them. When I'm over in the UK, I love to have poached eggs with hollandaise sauce. Oh, so good. Yeah, they're med egg I didn't like. Hunter's saying Joe T. Garcia's in Fort Worth is good. Yeah, Hunter knows where it's at. Joe T. Garcia is a very famous restaurant in the Stockyards part of Fort Worth, where the old west part of Fort Worth is. That place has been there forever. You have to pay cash. You only have like 2 or 3 menu selections. Who cares? They have pictures of margaritas. They're amazing. But now people have been going to eat there forever. We ate there a couple of months ago. It hadn't been that long. Love me some Joe T. Garcia's. But yeah, I'll eat eggs in any form at all. One of my favorites while I was down in Brazil, we had a trade show I was working at with a bunch of oil companies. And one of the booths had quail eggs, hard-boiled quail eggs. Tasted so good. Quite the pain to peel. These are little bitty eggs. Not the easiest to peel those things, but so good. And you could eat those things like, just like olives or something. They were fantastic. Yeah, it was tough when I was in the Big Brother house because we were limited to the number of eggs we could get. And so I couldn't just eat them all the time. I would usually fix one in the morning, put it on a piece of toast or something, things like that. But I couldn't go crazy with the eggs. Now, there were some people in the house, Jackson, Mickey, and others, they wouldn't touch those eggs. They were all about the egg whites, a carton of egg whites and things like that, which is fine with me. I don't have anything against those, but I like the good old fashioned real eggs that are round and in the shell and all that. They're very good. I had a friend here that I worked with for a while who raised chickens in her backyard. Seems like more people do it now that the price of eggs went up there for a while. But she raised chickens and she would come to work with just big baskets of eggs. And so I would go home with 6, 8 eggs a couple times a week. And it's funny because these weren't white. These were like brown and blues and reds. They were very muted hues, but all kinds of shades of eggshell. So fresh, so good. Yeah, don't get me started. It's one of my, I should have as HOH. What would they have said if I said, hey, don't bother with the beer. Just give me a couple of dozen packages of eggs and I'll be perfectly happy. I can go a long way. That's one of my go-to foods. When I'm hungry, I don't want to eat something that's high sugar, high carbs, and all. I just eat a couple of eggs. Fortunately for me, cholesterol's never been an issue. So yeah, I love me some eggs. And you're like, he talks way too much about eggs. I'm like David talking about milk on Survivor. Yeah, eggs are one of my things too. Chaz is saying, what reality stars would you like to see play $1 Million Secret? Oh, that's a good question. Or would you prefer them to cast normal people? Well, if they put me in there, then I'm fine with a bunch of celebrity reality TV people, not celebrities, but reality TV people. I'm perfectly fine with it. In all honesty, I kind of like when it's just the people that we haven't seen before. I mean, we're all regular people, but I know what you're talking about. I kind of like when you don't have any assumptions or preconceived ideas before the season starts about who's going to do well, who's not. I think it just brings more spice, more variety to the game, more uncertainty. So I do not have a problem with them bringing in folks that we haven't seen on our TV screens before. But if they were to bring in people, it would have to be people that are going to surprise you, either because they're very good liars or they're going to figure out some different way to play the game, intimidating other people, creating alliances that maybe you hadn't thought of before. I think there's a lot of opportunity in that game to do some things that have not been done yet. It's very similar in a lot of ways to traders, in that with this $1 million secret, it really doesn't matter who has the $1 million for the first week or two, because you figure it's going to shift around a few times before you get to the very end. So I feel like, knowing that, I wouldn't really care so much who did or didn't have the $1 million to start with. I think I would spend those first few weeks just making sure I was tight with a couple other people, so we could watch each other's backs, and then, you know, somewhere down the end, when there's 3 or 4 people left, then you start trying to really go after that $1 million. But I think there's different ways to be played that we maybe haven't seen just yet. So I'm trying to think, not putting off your question, I'm just trying to think who would be good from that kind of strategy standpoint and lying standpoint and all of that, and just bringing the chaos. God, there's so many. I'm trying to think, even from a Big Brother standpoint, who you would get in there. And I don't know. I got to think about that, because I could probably give you 20, 30 names on that. It would be very interesting. I want to see people that would surprise you, which I don't know what that means. Someone that comes in seeming, I don't want to give away spoilers. We saw some people this season who came in seeming to be very calm and kind of not, I'm trying to think, right, calm and not really making waves, just kind of blending in with the woodwork a little bit, and not really suspecting that they could be incredibly dishonest, scheming kind of people and all of that. And sometimes people surprise us. So I would like to see people that maybe would catch others off guard. I don't know. I've got to think about that on the names. It's target rich environment. I can think of a lot of people from Big Brother, especially, that would be really good at lying and scheming and being dishonest and pointing targets at other people. That's what we all specialize in that show, right? Yeah, we could have fun on that show. It'd be great. They could do $1 million secret as a sub game within Big Brother. Just some boring week when you get towards the end. Just say, hey, we're gonna do a little extra something. Yeah, I guess you couldn't do it at the end. What if they did it from the very start? If at the very start they had a twist that one of you has the golden egg and no one else knows who it is. It may change hands occasionally, but if someone makes it to the final 4 and they have that golden egg, they win an extra $100K or something. And it may give you powers. It may take away some powers. It's going to affect the game of Big Brother as well. You could kind of have that as a game within a game. And we as a viewer, I think, would have a lot of fun trying to see how you handle that extra pressure. Would it change the way maybe you would vote for someone if you thought they had the egg? Maybe you'd send someone out that normally maybe you wouldn't. And if that's the case, could you make people think that someone else had the golden egg? I think you could combine those two and have a pretty interesting season of Big Brother as well. So, let's see, am I frozen again? All right. Sharon said y'all can still hear me. I don't know what's going on with this, guys. I guess I need to reload my video software or something. I don't know. Y'all still hear me? I assume so. All right. We'll see if it pops back on in a second. Oh, that's a shame. Let me pull off the screen and then we'll get back in there. I don't know. I'm going to stop my cam and then I'll start it back up again. I don't know. Y'all give me just a second. I'll see if I can fix it. If not, then yeah, whatever. Well, let's see. That's kind of a start, huh? All right. There we go. I don't know. I'd stop my camera, turn it back on. All right. Never mind. We're back. Always be flexible. Always be prepared. I expect the unexpected. Of course, it's been like 3 weeks in a row, so maybe it's not so unexpected anymore. All right, let's see. Karen Lovin's saying, I was in Rome and in the papal audience. January 25th, 1978, my grandma's birthday. Why does 1970? Well, first of all, happy birthday to her, but why does 1978 ring a bell? Was that Pope John Paul? Was that his first year as Pope or something? I'd be pretty impressed if I knew that. Seems like it was right around there. I feel like he got shot right about the time that Ronald Reagan did, which I think was in 1980. It could have been Pope John Paul II starting out, but nevertheless, I'm kind of jealous. I'd love to see it one time just because it would make me feel so minuscule and looking around. And I do that when I go to other countries and I see architecture and buildings that are 4, 5, 600 years old. I did that in Baku, Azerbaijan. Looked around and said, God, there's just old stuff in this place. People have been here forever. As compared to here, where we are such a relatively young country in terms of our buildings, our cities, and everything else, just compared to Europe and other parts of the world. When I went to China and I look around and see stuff and I know it's been there for 1,000 years, it's just incredible. It's the same way with the big immense sculptures that you see built. It reminds me that not everything incredible has been handled by the last few generations. We had some incredible architects and incredible engineers and designers and other folks a long time ago when they didn't even have slide rules to work with. They were working on the back, writing with a quill feather on trying to figure out these calculations and all that. Always impressed with what we as humans can do in this world. All right, let's see. Tracy Muckenfuss is saying, when does Big Brother start? Anyone know? I don't think they've released it yet, Tracy. I've said before, I think it'll probably be like the Sunday through Wednesday after the 4th of July. And I don't remember what day 4th of July is this year, but I would expect right after the 4th. Seems like they've kind of settled on that date. I don't know if it's because all the people who work the show don't want to be working over 4th of July weekend. I have a feeling it's a little bit more that they think people are not going to be as closely attached to the TV on the 4th of July, right around that time period. They don't want people not watching the very beginning because then you lose audiences. So unless you're going to start the show a lot earlier before the 4th, like when they did with us, middle of June, unless you're going to do that, you might as well just wait till after the 4th. So I expect it's going to be something like that. So we'll see. Paul Long, first John Paul lived for 34 days, I think, died under strange circumstances. Yeah, he was not too long, right? He went out and partied too hard when he got to be the Pope. I remember that. It was we had president. Well, who was it? Harrison? I can't remember which president it was that lasted. Stood out in the pouring cold rain at his inauguration, caught the flu, and like 28 days later, I didn't have a chance to do a lot of damage. Maybe didn't do a lot of good either. But that's a shame. Parker's saying Eva has broken down so many stereotypes. Oh, I agree. For us people on the spectrum, lots of people taking advantage of her. I don't know if she has a winner edit so far. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Parker. I think she seems like a strong right-hand man, right? In a lot of ways. But no, you're definitely right. I was really worried when she first told Joe that she was on the spectrum and all of that I thought one of two things: either that people would take advantage of the situation, or that she would I don't know the right way to put it, that she would take advantage of the situation by pushing it too hard as I have this and therefore you can't go after me, or you shouldn't go after me, or as a reason not to go after me. I think about Big Brother, Jasmine, when she hurt her foot. Now, nothing against Jasmine, but she kind of milked that for a while. Oh, you can't vote me out while I've got a hurt foot, or you can't vote me on my birthday. I didn't want to see Eva do something like that. I also didn't want to see people take advantage of it. And I don't think I've seen either one. I mean, she threw it out there. She announced it. She spent a day or two talking about it, and then she moved on. And people are aware, and then you just move on with it. And I think that's the way it needed to be handled. Again, we're seeing the edit. We aren't seeing the full thing, but I'm happy with it. And she's shown that, I know we call it a spectrum because there's all different ranges, right? And, but she has shown that she's perfectly capable of getting out there. Every once in a while, maybe she needs to handle things a little differently than someone else, but hey, we all have different ways that we handle stress. And so now I've enjoyed it. I'm glad she got a chance to do that. All right, let's see. Misfire saying, Star's my dark horse. I could see that. You tend not to think about her, right? Until she's like rolling the red balls and everything. Ma is saying rooting for Star. Ticeman 1000 saying like Star more now. Oh, we got a lot of folks cheering on Star. Chaz is saying if it's Star, disappointed with the edit because sometimes I forget she's even here. Yeah, I agree with all of y'all. They just kind of treat her as an accessory, right? She doesn't seem to have any super tight alliances, but she also hasn't alienated anyone from her either. She could be a dark horse. She could be one of those that sticks around just a little bit longer than she could because no one sees her as this huge threat. My only concern with her is that eventually she's going to get cut loose, not because she's seen as a threat, but just because she's not necessarily seen as a benefit to the people that control the votes one of these weeks. But she may surprise us. She's going to be one of those that she's going to win a couple of immunity challenges right there at the end and be in the absolute thick of it. You know, it really made me feel very supportive and cheering on Star was Cedric. I think it's a couple of weeks ago. Cedric was so down. He lost the challenge. He did not do well at all in that particular comp challenge. He knew it was his time. He ended up going home. So he was very much down on the dumps. It would have been easy for Star just to kind of back up a little bit, say your future is kind of written on the walls, so to speak. And, why spend a lot of time investing? She didn't do that. She sat down with him. She talked to him. I think it was a very human period of time. I don't think she's doing it for strategy. She was just trying to be nice to someone that she saw very much down in the dumps. And so, yeah, props to Star for doing that. But I do agree with you, Chaz. I think you're the one who said that that they have not shown the edit of her really having a lot of agency. Isn't that the word they use, the buzzword? She hadn't seemed to have a lot of agency in this game so far in terms of strategy and decision making and all of that. She may surprise people. That's what I want to see in the game of Survivor. If she turns around and she blindsides a few people, then I'd be so happy. I will say I'm still a little disappointed that she gave away that immunity idol to Eva and didn't put any kind of conditions on it or anything or ever ask for it back. I truly hope that doesn't come back and bite her. But if it does, I feel like she'd be okay with it. I feel like she's made that decision and she moved on, and that's what you've got to do. Again, there's no one left in this season. I mean, some I think are getting more of a winner's edit than others, but there's no one that I look at this point and say, why are you even there? Mary, the last person left from her tribe. I would not have guessed that at one point early in the season that she would be the last man standing from that particular group. And yet there she is. She's obviously doing something right? All right, let's see what else. 747. All right, Martino Williams is saying, would love to see Cliff on Deal or No Deal Island season 3. Well, I would like that too. Could he escape if he was on season 2 of what's that? Got to Get Out on Hulu. I have not seen that yet. I've heard some good things talked about it. Put it on the list. Is Omarosa on there? I think Omarosa's on there. A few other people. I don't know. When I'm ready to get out of somewhere, it's tough to stop me. So without even knowing the premise of the show, other than knowing it's reality, I'd like my chances. Deal or No Deal Island. It would be a lot of fun. I've said before on here, I like the fact that they took a show that is completely random in a lot of ways and found a way to put strategy in it and everything else. How would I do on there? Who knows? As far as picking, I'm an engineer, so it's the same way when I go to Vegas and I play blackjack or anything. It's all about the odds. I would be out there. They would get so irritated with me. I'd be out there and say, well, I got a 4 in 7 chance of this turning out well, and so I'm going to go ahead and accept the deal. Well, Cliff, the deal's only for $100. Yeah, but it's a better than 50-50 chance. And they'd say, yeah, Cliff, you're out of here. Right? Just cut that. We're going to bring someone else in an alternate right now. No, I'm very much, I'm all about math and odds in just about everything I do. Take a very logical approach. And so I think that's the way I would handle if I was ever facing off against the banker in terms of some of the decision making. Which maybe that's too predictable in some ways, but the strategy of getting in front of the banker and all that, it'd be a lot of fun. I'd have fun doing that. All right. Parker saying, surprised how well JoJo Siwa is doing on Celebrity Big Brother UK. And Miss Fire saying JoJo is slaying. All right. A few of y'all sent me some ways to potentially get in and watch that show. I need to get caught up. I saw that they had announced the latest round of who was nominated. Now, Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother and Big Brother UK, they don't have just regular anymore, do they? But a little bit different than here in the States, for those of you who aren't aware. I think they pick, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen one or two seasons, but it's been a while. I think they, inside the house, pick who the nominees are, and then the viewing public decides which person actually goes home. Or is it reversed? The viewing public picks the nominees, and then within the house, they pick who goes home. I think it's the first way. But the public has a lot more say over there than they do in Big Brother USA. We tried that. That's the way it first started during season 1 of Big Brother here in the US, way back, way back. The problem was that we viewers booted out all the villains and all the people we didn't necessarily like, but they were also the ones that brought the drama and the chaos. So we got out all the interesting people and we're left with people who were very nice, but not necessarily a lot of fireworks involved. So that's why they changed the format of Big Brother US as compared to most other Big Brother competitions throughout the world. But yeah, I've heard JoJo's doing well. I heard Mickey Rourke not doing so well. I will. Is it really spoilers when you talk about a show you can't even watch in the United States? Can you watch it in Canada? Canadians up there, tell me, do y'all have access to Celebrity Big Brother? Yeah, part of the Commonwealth and all of that. Maybe y'all got better access than we do, but well, good for her. USA, let the American come over and dominate Celebrity Big Brother UK. Hey, the Australian came over and dominated Deal or No Deal Island, right? So we'll just circle around a little bit with it. Yeah, I need to check out that show. I've heard good things about it. And any Big Brother from any part of the country, they don't even have to speak in English. Give me Slovenia or somewhere. I may not understand what they're doing, but I can probably read the emotions enough to still follow along with the show and see how it works out. I'll throw in my yearly pitch. If you haven't seen Dead Set, which is fictional, but is filmed in the Big Brother house, it's based on the idea of what if while they're filming Big Brother, zombies move in and take over the country and the people inside don't realize it. That's what it's all about. They take the Big Brother UK house and all the people are inside. Suddenly the people that you want to boot because they're complete idiots, now you're having to depend on them to save your life when the zombies are attacking. Kind of a cool show. All right, 7:52. I will go real quick this. Marianne's saying, my father fought in Italy during World War II. Well, thank your father for that. That war. My father fought in Italy during World War II. They were given an opportunity to tour Pompeii. Oh, that's kind of cool. But the women weren't allowed because of the pornographic paintings. You see, it's not just 1,000 years that we've had the incredible architects and engineers and all that. For 1,000 years plus, we've had the people doing the crude drawings as well. Yeah, no, there's probably someone in Pompeii that was drawing on a rock and sending pictures of their private parts to friends across the thing. Remember the Flintstones cartoon episodes? They'd have a picture and it was always like a woodpecker, and it would just peck a photo of you in stones or something like that. You probably had that back in Pompeii. Even back then, there were people sending questionable content material to people they shouldn't be sending stuff to. So there you go. I didn't expect that to be the conclusion of my dad fought in Italy in World War II. I thought it was going to go a different direction, but I didn't know that. But I'm also not really surprised to hear something like that. That's pretty funny. I don't really know as much about the battles and the fighting that took place in Italy during World War II, as opposed to some of it North Africa. I know had Italy and all involved that. You always hear about the Battle of the Bulge and D-Day and all that, or fighting in the South Pacific. Not so much Italy, but yeah. Oh well, that's not the way I want to see Italy. I'd like to see it where the people are actively welcoming me, as opposed to firing things at me. But he probably got to see he got to see a lot more Italy than a lot of us see, I'm sure as well. All right, let's see what else we've got going on. Parker's now like, Jess, from your season, Cliff, I heard somewhere she only watched the Latin American Big Brother. Her parents were freaked out when she was cast. Oh yeah, she told us that story. It was El Hermano Grande, I think, or I think Big Brother in or Casa Famosa. I think they've got two different names, maybe two different shows. Anyway, yes, her family, apparently the one in Mexico, is much more risque than the American version. And her extended family had a meltdown when they thought she was going to go on that show. So her husband probably had a little meltdown as well once he heard her relatives saying what that was like. But yeah, she'd say, no, that's not going to happen to me or to this show. Thank God there were some people in that house whose prime motivation wasn't just hooking up with whoever happened to be next door. See, we had enough of that already. But yeah, her family was very, very in shock of that. I talked to over this past week, I work with a guy who's from Brazil. And I talked to him a little bit about Big Brother Brazil. It is huge down there. Remember, Indy from a few seasons ago was from Brazil, but she was on the U.S. version. I know she wants to get on the Brazilian version. Down there, it is a whole nother level of reality TV compared to anything that we've got up here. They have votes to give someone a power to vote someone out down there. And they've set the Guinness Book of World Records for like 30 million votes cast or something. It just dwarfs. Brazil's a big country to start with, a lot of people, but it absolutely dwarfs anything that we get here in the United States. And if you are on Big Brother Brazil, there's no questions about it. You're not just doing influencing and selling mocha lattes or anything. Nah, you're big time. They're like pulling people out of the house and immediately putting them on as news anchors and big company spokesman and all that. It is a path to instant fame and success. They get 10 million followers on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. It is a huge deal down in Brazil. It is so big that when I finished my season of Big Brother, a local news affiliate in Brazil actually reached out to me and said, Cliff, we would love to do an interview with you. There's so many Brazilians that are so into Big Brother, and a lot of them watch the U.S. version. Could we interview just because? I said, well, yeah, I've been to Brazil. I love the country. I love the people. I'd love to do it. So I did a quick little interview with them. Well, last time I'd been to Brazil, I actually had bought for my son the national team's soccer jersey. And so I had that. And so I posed for a picture holding up the Brazilian jersey. And they posted that as part of the story and all that. And I never saw it. I saw it one time, the link to it, and didn't quite know which buttons to click to go out there and look at it. So I hope they said good things about me. We'll see. But yeah, big deal to be on Big Brother in Brazil. So I know Indy's just biding her time, waiting to get a chance to do it again. It's incredible. These reality shows, someone gets this cool idea about a show, and before you know it, every country in the world is doing something very similar. I'm telling you, a reality channel does nothing but Big Brother and Survivor from every country in the world who does it. Maybe it wouldn't be a big hit, but there'd be a core group of people spending way too much time in front of the television screen, right? That would be, I'd watch it. I would absolutely watch it. All right, let's see. Vicky Zuzu Stone saying your brother needs to get a job in Trump's White House. Well, yeah, I think he's on the city council in Arlington. I think he's perfectly happy doing that. He'll let Trump do Trump stuff and federal stuff, and my brother will take care of the city and our hometown and all that. And I think he's perfectly fine with that. It is incredible that he got to know Donald Trump, not as a president, but as a guy who was doing a reality show that fired Bowie at one point in time. So yeah, it's a different world. Who would have guessed? 50 years ago when people would say, Ronald Reagan's gonna be president? The actor? Yeah, there's no way. 20-something years ago, people say, yeah, Donald Trump's going to be president. the billionaire with the funky hair. Yeah, no way. What a crazy world we live in, right? All right, let's see what else we got in here. It's 7:58. We may go ahead and shut it down. I'll tell you this much. I told you I had a horrible headache coming into it. Talking to you guys, headache's gone. All right, now I know my she's gonna hate this. I guess my new treatment for headaches is just talk and talk some more. And Sharon's solution to avoiding getting a headache will probably be to let me talk while she goes in the other room and doesn't have to listen. I do feel much better. And it's because I'm hanging with you guys. All right. Moss saying Trump actually ran as an independent in 2000, if I remember correctly. I didn't know that. It wouldn't surprise me. We have a few independents here and there. I remember old Ross Perot Jr. ran one year. That was interesting. We've had a few over the years, interesting folks running for president. Hey, if you think you can change the world, more power to you. That's what it's all about, right? All right, guys, we're going to shut it down because it is Ken saying, I hope you're feeling much better, Cliff. Have a good night. Thank you very much. Guys, we'll shut it down right here. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. Have a fantastic rest of the week. I will be back next Monday. What's next Monday? Is that still? I think still last part of April. I don't know. Yeah, it is because my birthday's on Thursday. So yeah, it'll still be April. So we'll have our last Cliff Notes Live of April, and then it's on to Mayflowers and all that kind of stuff. But until then, guys, have a fantastic week. Enjoy all the candy and Easter eggs you still got sitting around, I'm sure. Until then, hey, send me ideas. If you got anything you want me to talk about next week, I will certainly do that. A couple of y'all sent audition videos, and I apologize. I just got behind with taxes and Easter and all that kind of stuff. I'll watch them. I'll give y'all some comments. But y'all have a great one, guys. I'll see y'all next week. Until then, SKD143. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, hitting the old thumbs up. Guys, have a great Monday. Have a great week, and I will talk to y'all next week. Until then, cheers, my friends. And hey, happy Texas San Jacinto Day as well.